Yikes! That started earlier than I thought it was going to. Alright. I was just messing around with the fade. Let's see. I see, if I press that button, then that happens. It's the nature of technology, I guess. Is the music a little loud? A little loud for me. I can barely hear myself speak. Alright, let me turn it down for me. You don't need to bother with this. So, honestly, there's a bug. What am I? I'm here. Oh. Oh, that's a bit nicer. Oh no, it's too quiet now. Okay, good. Alright, you didn't see that? Where are we? You'd think after 2 hours of messing around, trying to get everything to work, that I would actually have got this all sorted beforehand. But I didn't. Sort of sat there mulling and playing around with things. I have my nice Twitch set up. I have everything in place. It is Saturday night, and I had a lovely evening. I went out for dinner. Hope you had a lovely evening too. It sounds so smooth radio, but I think that's just the mood I'm in. Alright. I was going to stream earlier today, and my earlier stream was going to be hella political and discursive about the future of the free software movement. But then, you know, I didn't really, I'm not feeling it right now, so I think what I'm probably just going to do is program my little heart away, program my blues away, and then do that for an hour or so, and then I'll go to bed and probably dream about Richard Stallman. That's what I did last night. So I'm not sure I told you in the last stream, I actually met with Richard on Friday and kind of gave him somewhat of a talking to about the last few days. If you don't know this drama, you don't need to know this drama. Your life is happier. Moving on without the drama. Richard Stallman is the founder of Free Software and somewhat of an eccentric person. Anyway, you can ask me questions about that if you want. But I don't think I'm gonna like proactively stumble into discussing all of this. I'm just gonna burble and code. Alright, so do this. Can I come up with my checklist? Nope, that's my secret checklist. I thought I fixed that. Oh well. See. I do this. It's amazing what you can find out just by like reading my little bits of screen. Oh really? I apologize on behalf of Drew DeVault Scribwin, who wrote about this. It's actually been really resilient for me in a way that actually X Windows I used to have some problems with. What setup were you using it with, Westcofort? Let's see. Yes. We were carrying on with the status bar that I got as far as getting to say foo. Oh, you'd think that would be pretty standard. That's kind of like the Dell XPS and I'm using a ThinkPad here. They're kind of the ones that people have the most success. I had a terrible sub-story with Cory Doctorow. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's the Wayland A3 thing. Cory always uses the latest ThinkPad or laptop. He like basically he goes through laptops at an incredible rate. I mean, he just hammers them to pieces. And he told me that when he, I hope this isn't privacy leaking, when he gave up smoking, one of his rationalizations was that his justifications was that he was going to put the money away that he spent on smoking, and he would use that to buy the latest laptop. And so he always buys the latest laptop, and he always runs Linux on it. And he's just been having hellish problems with his latest one, and like I was sort of saying, well, you know, latest laptops, it's not like they always like run well under Linux. And he was like, no, actually, I've never had such a bad experience with it. That's not really solving your problem, though, isn't it? I'd give it another go, actually. I mean, my guess is that it's not so much Sway as the Wayland interpreter. You know, I went and oh yeah, no, if it was a few years ago, things are so much better. I thought that going on to Wayland would be the big issue here with this setup. And I was like, I knew that I was being super brave to do it, and I gave myself, you know, complimented myself on my amazing bravery. But in fact, Sway was and Wayland was the easiest thing, even down to getting it to run using OBS. Everything just seemed to work. Yeah, yeah. But he was saying like he actually pays a support license to Ubuntu, um, and they were just like they couldn't understand what was going on. So um, yeah, yeah, and same with this ThinkPad. Although I remember when I got the X220, which was like famously a great laptop and a great laptop for Linux. But my God, it took a year before things really stabilized out. It's such a strange thing. Like people complain about it, but you sort of realize that everyone's desperately trying to catch up with a very open system. And the thing I've always used to say about Linux, Macs, and PCs was that, you know, if a PC doesn't work, it's Bill Gates' problem, and you can get furious at them. Um, if it's a Mac, then, you know, that's probably how they're supposed to work. And like maybe I shouldn't question it, although frankly, as the Mac proletariat revolution begins to kick into effect, and the rebellion against Tim Cook and Johnny Ive continues to wield its power, that's changing. And in Linux, if something goes wrong, it's kind of your fault. You're supposed to actually fix that with a patch, and maybe you should spend more time working out how to fix that. That's certainly how I feel. Everything that's gone wrong or been a bit weird about this, I've immediately gone, okay, I'll add it to my own personal to-do list. Yeah, exactly. It's Wesker. It's fun, and I think one of the challenges you sort of, if you're trying to sort of ideologically argue that people should use free software, I think one of the challenges is that oh, thank you, whoever that was. I still don't know. I still hear the noise, but I don't know who the follower was, even though it's probably on lots of screens. Well, thank you for the follow, mystery person. Uh, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so you're ideologically trying to get somebody to use free software, but on the other hand, like I think many of us use it because it's fun and it's interesting, and that's a chunk of our life that other people don't know about. So, question is like, is there a limit to people who will want to do that? And to the extent that there will always be people who want to do that, can they can they support everybody else who really just wants a car that they can drive around? And I think it's always kind of odd that I think about the trailing edge quite a lot. I think about, well, by the time we get somewhere with Linux, or we get somewhere with the graphics drivers, or we get somewhere with Wayland, then things have always moved on a little bit. And, is there a point where we reach stability? It's one of the reasons why I'm sort of interested in Guix, this platform I'm messing around with, because it's an attempt to bring together 30, maybe 40 years now, getting it on to, of development, and say, maybe we can rein in the complexity and bring all of these things together. And I think that there's an opportunity with that, sort of as Moore's law begins to slow down a little bit. There are times when they're often tied economically. I once had Bunny Huang, who's this great hacker. If you don't follow his blog, you totally should. Hey, thank you for the follow. Somebody else. Oh no, I just clicked on the wrong. Why did I even bother? Thank you for the follow, person. Thank you for the other follow. Hey, look, it's down here. I should be able to see it. It should be able to show me something. I'm using too many pronouns here. No idea what I'm talking about, but this alert box should be saying things. Where were we? Oh yeah, Bunny Huang. So Bunny Huang, awesome hacker. Here he is. Bunny gave this talk many years ago where he talked about how his work, he did a lot of work reverse engineering things and hacking stuff, right? In the true sense of the word, well, whatever. I have a book over there called Hacking the Xbox. He managed to break the predictions on that first, maybe second series Xbox, and get it so you could install your own software onto it. And they were basically PCs, like a lockdown PC, I think, at that point. Anyway, he gave this talk where he said there are these cycles that as there's a burst in the time of a boom, technology kind of runs ahead. There's a lot of capital investment in it by big companies, and so the stuff that they're creating is way beyond what you'd be able to do in your own garage, or even just understanding what they're doing would be way beyond what you could do. And then there's a recession, and there's not so much investment. The pace of development and innovation slows down, and then all of this sort of stock appears on eBay and places where you can buy it, all this test equipment, and the average sort of hacker can get hold of that stuff, and then they begin to sort of catch up a little bit and be able to build their own things. Oh, this is kind of an interesting. There we go. Oh, that's from 2011. Oh, interesting. Maybe this is actually yeah, maybe what he's talking about here is exactly what I was talking about. Deceleration, how things will get better. 2011, I don't know, maybe it happened. It certainly was an amazing kind of hardware boom, sort of hacking hardware boom. Let's have a look, just while I do anything else. I wanna, what happens if you just search for test equipment? Okay. Some industrial. Some clothing, that would be interesting. Get stuff. Wow, interesting. What? Satin test Whoa. Some piece of crap from Follow. Kind of tempting, isn't it? Well, I guess this is all very old stuff. I wonder if people sell this stuff to people for vintage reasons. I don't know what would be a thing that you would want now. What's happening with FPGAs? $20. Just FPGA. I haven't looked at FPGAs for a long time. Huh. All right. Anyway, should be doing working on this status bar. So where we were yesterday, if you were here yesterday, is we were playing around with trying to get dbus information into Guile. And I sort of feel like I stumbled and fell there because I'm trying to learn things in too many axes, right? I'm trying to learn Guile. I'm trying to learn at that point how dbus works and object introspection works. And maybe the better thing to do would be to try one of those at a time. Maybe I could try a more familiar language to mess around with this stuff. Hey, Bloodluster, good to see you back. And that could definitely be something I could do in Python. I could use Python object introspection. Do it. Or I could just throw myself in the deep end. We were using Guile GI. There it is. And one thing, I did a little bit of research into dbus. And it seemed like, yeah, it seemed like the object to use was in GIO. I don't actually know what GIO is. I think it's the object library. Is it just the introspection part, or does it mean when they say IO, do they mean IO as an input output? Let's read their introduction. VFS. Yeah, it is part of GTK, but is it like the introspection or is it the input and output? Looks like input and output here, doesn't it? Oh, now we're going into. Yeah, this is still input-y. And there we go. There's like a dbus connection. All right. See, I could probably. What did I actually do in this program that I'm now trying to port because I can't be bothered to install Qt? Preserve my purity of essence. So this runs this Qt function, and looks like what it does is finds Clementine, which has stopped playing music, as is want. Creates this object and then, or rather, accesses this object and then runs a get on this Empress is its own thing. For those of you who want to know what the hell I'm doing, I mean, I won't tell you the big picture thing because I always take 20 minutes explaining Lisp and Guix at the beginning of these things. But what I'm mainly doing right now is trying to restore the track listing thing over there so it actually works, and then hopefully also put it up on the status bar that just says foo right now. Oh, Empress is the Empress a KDE thing? Oh, okay. I mean, I am like, oh gosh, well maybe, like, you never know, maybe there's a Guile thing for Empress. This guy is doing the same thing I do, which is to, or did, I used to use bind keys because it's Lispy and it's a good way of defining your keyboard shortcuts, but doesn't work under Wayland, so I ended up just using Sway's built in. Oh look, it's like, this is like some Emacs code. I wonder if, oh look, he's using QDBus. Okay, could just try and install QDBus. Do you want to see me trying to install something? That'd be exciting. I don't think it would. I like this guy. He has a lot of, like, it's metal. Has a lot of the same ideas as I would. It's very funny that he runs Emacs when you press these keys. Yeah, crude but works. That's what I like to see. Hey, I just left. Oh no, he just left. Oh well, disappointed him. Some people come back as well. It's good. The other thing that's good about Xbind keys is you can do these like chord keys. You can just get like a pianist. You can just go set something running. This guy could be a doppelganger. I might follow him. Do. Hello, Twanan again. Sounds Vietnamese. Emacs. Configs. What you been working on? Staying. Am I actually logged into GitHub? No, I'm not. Oh well. Alright, I'm gonna say when I'm not gonna try logging into GitHub with all of you people watching me. So I can add it as a to-do. Cut and paste. Okay. Good, but I digress, don't I? No, I'm still struggling with org mode. I see how lovely it is, and I want to believe, and I do want to bury my life in it, but these fingers have not been bred to run Emacs shortcuts, so it's taking a while to train them. I think I saw this and it's really out of date. Yes, look at that. So many scheme things, and yet actually, does that work? Pure? Can it be pure scheme? how old is this? 10 years old. Well, they do say scheme does not bit rot. Kind of think if something was written in 2011. Don't know Westcoffer. Wish I did. I think there's something that lets you pass. I know it's actually pretty nice. But this is beyond my pay grade. It look like. Actually pretty similar to that Guile GI. Same feel to it. Gosh. Huh. Let's answer your question, Westcoffer. Right, so you can dynamically link to things. And I think that there is something, I might be getting it confused with Common Lisp. It had a funny name like Slurp. I think that there's, or Scutter or something like that. There's some term. Hey, have a good night. Have a good time, K-Revc. Or going over C libraries, C header files and generating them. But I think Guile actually does that. Here we go, look. Right, that's exactly what you wanted. And look, it's from 2019. I do have to like double check everything in Guile because sometimes it's like, oh yeah, there's this thing we're going to do in Guile, and it's from like the 2003 version of Guile. Guile spent a lot of time sort of in the wilderness. I think it was really only picked up by the next GNU generation pretty recently. They were like, hey, why don't we actually do this properly? It seems abandoned. There we go. All right. Getting some distractions. I wonder, Guile. You just think I'm going around in circles here and I should just stick to one thing. It's probably this. Did wonder if this guy was in the Guile chat. I feel a bit less bad about asking questions. There he is. Guy. Wow, he was last here 40 minutes ago, so if we could just ask him. Yeah, I actually think that Python's isn't sort of super great compared to languages that are really designed to do FFI stuff, which Guile really was. So, but I don't think Guile is the greatest either. I get the feeling that there's some like quicker and dirtier Lisps out there that really let you tie things to one another. Yeah, I bet. I mean, I don't think I think that would be one of like D's design goals would be to like interface well with existing low level code. I'm a bit scared to talk to this guy. Oh look, here's the people are. Oh look, everyone's talking about it. Oh, by name. I also want to kind of do something with the Guile IRC logs, because I suspect there's a lot of really useful information in there. That into. Maybe what tonight will be is just me creating endless new to-dos. Search engine or Guile IRC logs. This time I'm going to put some tags on this. Ah. Okay. I wonder if D has kind of suffered a bit from Rust. This is like a package. Oh, but it's not. It's not a scheme package. Okay. Let's try it. Look at those examples again. There were simpler examples than this. Yeah, because we hit this ourselves with GI repository. Like later version. Ruben, I denoted my beard to charity. It actually has a much more popular stream channel of its own. My beard has a Twitter account, but I don't think it's posted very recently. 2014. All right. So clearly these examples are out of date, which is technically useful. Use type libs. How are you, Ruben? Seen you for ages. Thank you for those warnings. No, don't come here with some scotch. This is me relaxing and being somewhat quiet with Liz asleep. Me and Ruben had like a long tradition of like him going, "Hey, do you want a party?" And me going, I'm just in bed. Like, why are you doing this to me now? You don't have to put on pants to come here. Oh, thank you for following whoever was following me. If it's Ruben, you follow me too much as it is. We were complaining about Richard Stallman, Ruben. Well, I was actually feeling kind of like sad and maudlin about the whole thing. But I met him yesterday very briefly. He was not having a very good day. I said he should step down. I think. Not really just because of this. Seriously? I will. Can I do that without, like, you know, typing my password in? I'm taking this seriously, Ruben, because you would be an awesome cookery program host. Not in, like, the real world. Oh, look, you really have been doing stuff. What have you been doing? Awesome. We can, like, organize a raid or some such. Oh, great. And I get to see Tilda, too. This is fantastic. All right. I'm going to follow. Follow and subscribe. How many followers do you have? Am I beating you? It's just like, yeah, mature audiences. So I'm more of a family show, Ruben. That is my deal. Just followers. Following. 7? 7? You cooking for 7? I'm not. This isn't a competition, obviously. What is this interface? Why? Oh, God. I think this whole thing is just going to be a record of my slow descent into user interface senility. What is going on here? Okay, hit reload, Danny. Don't panic. I hope when I followed you, you got that noise in your head. I could unsubscribe. I could just keep unfollowing and refollowing until something broke. No, this is exciting. People, I could just watch one of your videos. I'm going to do that, actually. It's not going to be embarrassing. Look, this camera is really... I really like this. Look at that. And you've got higher resolution than me. What's this crap? What is that? Is that a hard drive? You're going to cook with a hard drive? Yeah. This is really good. I think this might inspire me to cook more. Oh, look, your sound is going through the wrong speaker on my setup. That's Ruben, ladies and gentlemen. Now I have to work out why it isn't going through the right thing. Oh, it is. Sorry, I take it back. It is going through headphones. Just, and that's as it should be. Huh. Look, these things you found in the street. Like just in like that's one of those bags you throw things away on. Like biodegradable bags. That's what we have in San Francisco. I'm sure this is extremely entertaining. Like the levels of meta here are profound. But if you want to, it's low FODMAP. Seriously, actually, I do want to subscribe. Like, do you do low FODMAP stuff, Ruben? Answer in your own time. I eat the low FODMAP diet. I don't know whether I've ever confessed that to you, Ruben. Perhaps in one of our discussions about how often we shit. Pulsicity, it's dividing outputs. I don't know what that means. Pulse. What is pulse? Oh, Pulse Audio. Yes, actually, Pulse sounds good. I like calling it Pulse because it sounds like it's like your your annoying friend that you've got a nickname for. Yeah, it is. It is stupid, but it worked in this case. Okay, I actually want to learn how to cook vegan PODMAP stuff. I have a book on it, or low FODMAP, I should say. I don't want to learn how to make high FODMAP vegan things because it would just be like eating a garlic bulb and then an onion, and that actually makes me feel slightly unwell even thinking about it. FODMAP, if anyone here is suffering from IBS, then we'll be having the IBS hour, probably after I've eaten. Um, if you do suffer from irritable bowel syndrome, um, I got news for you, son. Uh, but I recommend the low FODMAP diet. Speech chat. Is this one of those? Is that going to be one of those things where I should never type in a URL that Ruben gives me? Hmm. Got it. Connect with Google Drive? Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think so, Ruben. Why would you connect with Google Drive? Is that to dump logs? Don't think. No. No. No, 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 no. Hmm, like the idea of it though. Oh, right. That is that not a solved problem on the internet where to still state? Drives me crazy every time I try and do some sort of application. I'm always, especially a decentralized application, I'm always like, where am I gonna put this shit? This is Sway, which is written by Drew DeVolt, who I believe will be the next person to be cancelled in free software. Actually, I don't know anything about the guy, but I I I just I once tried to follow him on Mastodon, and he'd he'd already been sort of like blocked. His instance had already been blocked. I was like, oh, what's going on there? And I actually emailed him, and he was like, I don't know. But I worry that I guess we'll call it the notch effect, where someone who is working full time on software in a very public and open way, I think it can get to them. I think they may just always end up hating all humanity. Yeah, KDE. I'm insufficiently German, I'm afraid. I actually like the chaos that non KDE tools provide you. I like a bit of excitement in my life. That's that's like Brexit, right? For me, I have a little bit of Brexit in my English genes, and I think one of the reasons why Brexit happened, what I think people should think of Brexit as the gnome of the European Union, in the same way as KDE was actually absolutely fine and Qt was like turning out to be